Call the Board of Water Commissioners meeting to order at 6:35. First item on the agenda is to discuss Georgetown connection. I assume they started today?
Yes, we did do kind of some test pumping today.
Mm-hmm.
They did finally get the Mass DEP approval.
Okay.
I also have the signed original, I believe it's
It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the signed original MOA. I gave one copy's Georgetown's, one copy's at Town Hall.
Who made the correction on it?
Scott Edwards, I believe. Either or Nick Boyer.
Okay, so it's dated as of the first day. Yeah, okay. I don't have an issue with that.
Do we need to prorate the bill?
I'm not too sure what exactly is going to happen with the bill. I mean,
We
I say
could, I think, reasonably, because the DEP stopped it from happening. I know personally, I wouldn't like to be shafted because of a government agency, wrecking the plan. But
Well, I mean, the issue is how many gallons. We won't know how to prorate the bill until we find out how many gallons we actually.
I would say that
you
you
charge
guys.
them a flat fee, it's basically for a month. But do we do the month from
The
July
month-
8th to August 8th?
I would
Is that a
say
month?
that we should do it from today.
Okay.
You know, they started pumping water today, so the start of the month should start today and then goes into the next. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, then that's reasonable.
Yeah, it makes sense to me too. It's up to you guys.
No, it's
I
just,
figured we get
Ready?
to the end of the month and then
So
we
we're doing
discuss it.
4 weeks when we say a
it's
month.
a month, yeah,
Mhm.
4 weeks.
All right, so that makes sense.
Because then after 2 full months, they go into the weekly. I mean, we're still gonna bill them monthly, but, if they do 3 months or 5, whatever overflow time we've got built into the MOA, so we can just keep going. And then we can extend it if we have
So
to.
we need to
So
have
is
a
there-
motion to do that so we can officially vote on it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the billing pursuant to the MOA starts with the first day of pumping, which is today. Today's July.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I just,
No,
a lot of things we haven't voted on, and I get asked.
Do you need this back? It's Kevin.
No, I didn't know where you guys wanted that. To be honest. I don't
Kathy
want
That should be on, filed.
Yeah.
Give it to Kathy to
So that's
file.
as of July 9th.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything seems to be working fine.
Yep. Yeah, we pumped for about 2-3 hours. I monitored
How many gallons a minute are they taking?
300 gallons a minute right now. I was monitoring our system. They were monitoring their system.
Everything seemed to.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Right.
Nothing crazy.
Now, I am reticent to ask you this question, Rob, but it's on the side of the road there. What happens if someone has a car accident and drives into that mess? I mean, does the insurance company take care of it, or the car insurance? I mean,
Georgetown takes care of it.
It's
Georgetown.
Georgetown's gear?
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll have to replace it.
Yeah.
So we don't have to.
I believe they're renting it, right?
Yes. From Rangeline. Yeah, I think it's Georgetown take care of that. As far as like if they run into our fire hydrant, then that's we have to take care
I'm
of
just,
that.
like I said, I'm reluctant to ask that question, but so they'll have to deal with it if their install gets messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Status of 100 Weathersfield Street. I think everybody got the letter
Yeah.
of their proposed agreement. Any questions? Do we want to make a motion to accept it? To reject it?
Their payment plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to note that it's, that it would be 6 years for a payoff, 6.3 years.
Right.
75 months of 6 years.
I didn't know what it was until I just saw the figure right
Yeah,
here.
I was
It's
ready
it's 13. They're paying off the 9,800 is being paid off via the lien. So that's one sequence. And so the balance, which I assume is the balance, is the 13,000
on the lien.
or the.
It's the
Everything they pay
22,000.
towards the
So the
taxes
current
goes to
balance
our
is
lien
22,000.
first.
22,000, but that is not including the $9,800.
That's taken care of itself.
Okay.
I I would propose that we accept their payment offer. It looks like they fixed the leak, which is what we wanted, and they've got a payment plan. Is it the best? It's okay, as far as I'm concerned. So I would make a motion to accept the letter from Bruce Gage, LM, or Esquire, whatever.
Can we just clarify whether the outstanding balance is accruing interest at this point?
It's going to accrue interest until it's paid off.
So at the moment, it's, since I think the interest rate is 14%, the 300 doesn't cover the interest. The 3,600 a year won't cover that interest. The interest will be over $3,000 a year, basically $4,400 a year.
On 22,000?
No,
We can't count the lien cost because
Right.
The lien is separate. That's being taken care of by the town
Yes.
treasurer.
so it's 22,000 times 14%, which is 3,000. And they're going to give us 3,600.
Well, if you do that, it's 22,739 times 14% is 3,183. If you divide that by 12, that's 265 a month in interest. So
Yeah.
they're paying the interest and
$35.
$40 and
Plus their
$35.
Plus, they're going to
plus
keep
the
current.
current.
Right.
That's
They say.
There's two things that I'm concerned with right now. Is the leak was fixed, and that they're going to keep current, and making an effort till they sell their house.
I'm willing to work with them. Yeah. Is it ideal?
No.
I don't think so, but in the spirit of negotiation, the ball has moved so far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they fixed the leak, they've got a payment plan, and now if they start defaulting on it, then that's we'll have to revisit it. Yeah.
Deal with that.
What do you think about that, Joanne?
I think they said 300, we're taking 300. I would have been happier with 1,000 because then that means that they're intent on, we will see some real progress. I mean, assuming this is, the lawyer is basically saying they lowballed us. So,
You can always come back with a counteroffer.
John is saying no.
Well, I don't want to counter. I just want to.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put this to bed, move forward, give them if they need some breathing space. I mean, not that it should matter, but you know, the guy's had a stroke. He's had issues. It looks like they're trying to put their own point together, and if they're making a good effort to make the payment and they got that leak fixed, that's what we wanted. A payment plan and leak fixed.
So,
But I'm open
Where-
to it if you
so-
want to go counter.
yeah, I mean, I suspect that there will be a within the family sale of the property, which means that the amount of money that actually materializes out of it may be minimal. It's kind of like a dollar kind of deal, which leaves us, because we're agreeing that we're going to take the balance of this from the sale of the property. And I don't think that that's a smart move.
Rick, well, if you look at paragraph 2 of the letter, the house is on the market and sold, the entire past due balance will be made current. So if that property is sold, the lien, they can't transfer that property to whoever they sell to, even if it's in your family, for the $1, et cetera. They have to clear the lien, and if they clear that lien, that means that property is sold, and that, you know, this is really could become what you call a demand letter, that it will be made current. If not, then another lien will
This
go
is-
right on that property.
I'm going
This
to say
is
this
a
becomes null and void as the payment plan,
Yeah.
because that's what he's got stated in here.
Uh-huh. And this can be enforced, and if not, then another lien will go right back on that property. And so, I mean, we have plenty of recourse if they want to screw around. My sense is they're not screwing around, they're just looking for some breathing room to get this
And
wrapped
we
up.
always have the option of not giving them water,
If they don't pay.
Right.
But yes, yes.
or the new owners don't, you know, it's not settled on.
I'm just saying, they can't really, The transfer must have cleared about the lien. The
Yeah, but
existing
which
lien,
lien?
The 9,000.
Right, but
So
there's
they-
22,000, which is,
Which says that they will, when it's sold, the entire past due balance will remain current. So, that's what their intention is.
I will second it.
Okay. Make a motion to accept this payment plan?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
Did you get that, Kathy?
I just,
Duly noted, I mean,
I just think this lawyer, from what we understand, this lawyer specializes in this kind of deal, and it looks like it's the little wiggle room is on their side, as far as I can see.
I would agree with you, however, we have very, very strong tools in our toolkit to use if any shenanigans start happening.
All right, I'm just not sufficiently familiar, and I just wouldn't. I mean, the fact of the matter is it's not for sale yet, and there's no evidence that it's for sale, and it was been told it was for sale before. So that's why my cynical buzzer is going off. So,
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a judgment call, you know, and this may be right or wrong, but my gut says the way I went is really my gut is on that one. That's
no.
From a quantitative standpoint, I agree. It could look not good, but my gut on this, you know, dragged in, doing the whole thing, and being residents, I want to try and give our residents quote the benefit of the doubt. That's all.
Long-time residents, too.
I don't know that, but yeah.
I do, because I looked it up.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, if we can help them,
The house was
Move
purchased
forward.
like in the 80s.
you know, good. Are they still living in the property?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, anything else on that?
John, so your motion was to accept the plan from the attorney.
Correct.
And just keep us informed on whether they keep up current on that. Because if they don't, then we'll have to go other routes. Okay. Just the payment plan for basically discussing this is, after the last meeting, I went and researched it, and I had Kathy research it.
There is no plan.
There is no plan, number one. The balance as of
So,
7/9 is
just verify.
$33,810, $800.10.
So say again, how much is the balance?
It's on the top right.
Yeah.
30
Oh, 30.
They made a payment on July 10th of $4,341.15, which is the first payment they've actually made, and that was after our meeting with Mr. Plum.
Okay. Well, that's a substantial amount.
So,
And I'd say, do we reach out and say thank you for the payment and
no, it's basically paying what their monthly payment. It's a little bit, it's 4,000, actually I read the wrong, it's $4,685.21.
$3 less than
Yeah, it's
more than the
more than what the current charge was, so. It's the first time they paid a current
Right.
charge since last February. A year ago, February 18th.
Well, that is progress.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to send them a note to say, it was duly noted, we do not have a plan from you? Is the plan to just pay over the due amount every month?
So it. I just get real upset with people who play these kind of games. It looks like the amount of $4,685 is the $49.31 minus 5% discount. So here's this guy who owes us oodles of money, and he's taking the discount. And That's,
It's
I don't
exactly-
think our policy, I don't think
That's
that's,
exactly. Yeah.
so I don't think that,
A payment plan, that's just you pay the
Should
bill.
would you suggest that we send them a letter demanding that we get a formal payment plan?
I'd say pursuant to our meeting, whatever the date was he was here, you indicated that you had a payment plan or would be entering a payment plan. It's in 2 weeks, we have not any communication from you. We'd like to give you 2 more weeks, and if we do not have a payment plan over and above your monthly bill, we will be forced to proceed with other actions
Yeah.
to collect.
and also that if you're in arrears, you're not entitled to take the discount.
Oh, really?
I don't
No.
believe so.
No,
Can you
that's-
check that?
That would be up to Pranachuk, I would think.
I believe
I'm
that's
pretty
true.
certain,
I'll
I'm pretty
check.
certain if you're in arrears, you can't take the discount. So, you know, he wants to pay 95 cents on the dollar.
Mhm. So I definitely think a letter is in order.
Did you catch what I said?
So, send a letter saying that in 2 weeks, if we don't have a payment plan in place, that we'll take.
I'd say pursuant to your last
Okay.
meeting you attended, you indicated that a payment plan was in place, or would be, parens, you said you check, close paren. We are not aware of any payment plan per Penachuk, and your last payment also took advantage of a discount of which you're not entitled, as you are in arrears. We would like you to correct that, and also within 2 weeks, present a payment plan to us or Penachuk by 7, whatever the month is, 7/31, 7/30, yeah, 7/31.
So, Kathy, draft it up and send it to a lawyer, because this is really,
Yeah, I would suggest that
Okay,
draft it up and send it to Tom.
okay.
Make a motion to do that?
seconded.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's a good one,
No, I agree with you on that one. I've been consulting with him on this anyways.
Tom? Good. I wouldn't have.
And there's interest due on all of this as well. I mean,
Paying your current bill is not taking care of the arrears of $33,810.
so this is,
All right. Discuss future and current operations of the department. And we have job descriptions in here.
right, I had a meeting,
I thought this was on the agenda.
Remember, I didn't get it signed, stamped
Oh, okay.
today. I made it to the town hall at 1, and they close at 2 on Thursdays or Tuesdays now.
Oh, okay. Anyways, we can discuss it under this anyways.
right, so I had the meeting to review, precipitated by the discussion of Brian's promotion to level 8, pay grade 7, sorry. So that discussion then precipitated a review of the existing proposal yet again. Mo Lavassa was not at that meeting, so they still haven't come to a final conclusion. But two things came up from the meeting. The first is that after talking about the current proposed grade levels with Rob, we still need Ryan to get his full license before he gets the grade 7 or level 7, grade 7, grade 7 pay. The issue there is that in our discussion, it's clear that the board decides whether somebody gets a full license or not. There are kind of guidelines.
Which board, us?
No, the board of
Board of
supervisors.
licenseers.
Oh, board of licensees, okay.
So even though the guideline says he should be in the, if he doesn't have a degree, then he's got to be in the position for 2 years. It also says that if he passes the water technologies certification, it goes to 1 year. So we don't. So we were able to find out from Ryan whether he's actually taken that?
Yes. And so, yeah, when I spoke to him, I exactly what we were talking about, that we are going to have him apply for one of his grade 1 licenses to be in full.
Yeah.
I'll pick one, probably the treatment, because he has both. Just use everything he's got, the recent work experience, recent certification for, I think it's a grade 2 examination. Maybe one of the commissioners would be nice enough to write a letter of recommendation stating that he actually does have, experience in his fields, working hard, and leave it up to the board of licensures to say, all right, we will give him a grade 1 in full status. And actually at this point it'll be 1 year since he's had it, instead of usually 2 years. From there, once he gets that, then we can allow him to go up another pay grade.
Right, and the personnel board was on board with that. The open issue was, their concern was because of the structure that we proposed meant that we could have, if we have 4 employees, all 4 could be at grade 11, which is, they all could reach, pass level, get their level 3 licenses. And then the issue was, well, who's in charge?
The superintendent.
No, because they're not listed as a primary operator.
Then we
So
would
that's
just, as a board, assign,
We
number
we'd
1,
set up
number 2, number 3.
So the personnel board asked that a job description be developed that says for the chief operator for the treatment plant and a chief operator for distribution.
Those grade 12s. I say that, we've put the play, why? Because they want to micromanage the way the plant,
Their
is
concern
operating?
is that
I'm
there
actually
will be-
concerned with this too, now that they brought it up, that if everybody had, say, grade 2 licenses full, everyone had this license,
No?
everyone would be at a grade 10 or 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
the problem
different
is,
steps.
though, 2 of the people
So we're stepped up.
are primary operators, directly responsible from the state for the operations. And the other 2 guys are secondary operators, they're not directly responsible for the
I think we should
operations.
only have a position for a primary operator. No matter what you get up for your licenses, you can't get up to that point unless the position's open.
So 11A and 11B. It's really, one is the chief and one is the...
I think that's where we have to go with it, is include, grade 10 for secondary, but, even though you have the same licenses, if you're listed as a primary operator, it's grade 11 or 12, whatever.
There should be a little bump for having the responsibility of being the primary operator.
And that was a concern with me,
And that's I totally and 100% agree with that. Even if they have the same licenses, doesn't mean they have the same experience.
Agreed. And so, Bernie, does this mean we've got to revisit all the work that you did? Or do we just tweak it slightly?
not all the work. It really is a matter of tweaking it so that it is a matter of tweaking it, and I haven't gone back to kind of look at what's the easiest way of tweaking it. The goal here is to kind of have the incentives out there for everybody else to keep moving full.
Well, I'll use the fire department for an example. I'm a captain on the fire. If there's somebody that has higher, credentials, I'm still the captain. I still get the captain's pay, and that person has to wait till that position is open until you go. So, I mean, there's a chain of command, and that's what needs to be done here. Is it needs to be a chain of command with a superintendent at the top, and you come down the pyramid, and you have your two primary operators. Then your pyramid goes down to that, and it spreads out to your other operators. And that's the way most places work. But that's why you need the superintendent at the top, because you need that person to be in charge.
One throat to choke. One throat to choke.
So I will look at and rework the job descriptions to basically have a chief.
I think you just call it a primary operator.
Well, that's the confusion, because then that kind of overlays with the state regulations, basically saying as far as I can read from the state regulations, that you don't have to have just one primary operator.
Then why don't we have a senior primary operator and a primary operator?
Or the chief treatment.
Yeah, I like the term senior, because it's something for the regular operator to strive to achieve. When the senior moves on, or
Chief says that they're at the top. No, the superintendent's at the top.
yeah.
So it's more like a deputy chief's position, using my firefighting terminology.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk, and these guys
Yeah.
should make the call, because I could care less what you call Prince,
Yeah,
Duke.
Okay.
it'll be Prince, yeah.
So work on it, and we'll report back next meeting.
Yeah, they're not ready for another month.
Thankfully, we don't have a gun to our head right now. So.
Well, the gun is if we are pursuing this secondary. We've got one opening, which we're going to have to finagle budgetary wise. Finagle meaning we're going to have to work the numbers in a way that allow us to fund the secondary operator. We want to be in a position to be able to be really competitive on that basis, because in part, the reality is that Bob is, close to retirement, full retirement, and we need to kind of anticipate that. We need to have a position that's attractive to a fully qualified distribution primary operator. And the proposed structure does allow for that, because even if the guy comes in as a secondary operator, he can be paid on his licenses, which gives him
I think we got to do away with the foreman and the assistant foreman.
Oh, yeah.
Those are going to go.
Yeah, that doesn't make, that's just misleading.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost the bubble here. So that's the pressure of kind of keep moving this forward and keep the personnel board being ready to then go talk to the union, because the reason why this letter is in there is that this is the letter that's going to have to be changed, because this is the agreement with the union. So that will need to be changed in a way that
It basically has to go through the selectmen, who have to agree to meet with the union and change the job description.
But all this is discussed beforehand. I mean, the selectmen are going to basically see something that is...
It should be a rubber stamp.
Fully vetted.
Yeah. So-
Anything else under current?
Yes, we will probably go into a water use restriction next week. The current stream flow level is about 6.9 cubic feet per second. It needs to get below 6 cubic feet per second for 3 days straight, and then we have to do a mandatory water use restriction. I see that happening by the end of the week.
It's very
Unless we
likely.
get a lot of rain.
Unless we get a lot of rain, but
No, things are drying up. You look at it.
it dropped pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I foresee the beginning of next week that we'll be filling with the paperwork and putting an official water use restriction out.
Not bad. Middle of July.
No, it'll be what we typically do, which is
It's on to the end of September.
water use restriction, no non-essential water use outside from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., which,
Most people are at work.
You can wash your car at 8. Right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, non-essential, so, a lot of people are concerned about, like, they have farms.
You can
or
water
farm
your garden.
animals.
Yeah.
Your vegetables don't have to die.
This year.
And your horses.
Yeah, like, livestock and stuff, that is essential.
Even
yes.
even the worst restriction, those are. And if you're doing it for farming, it's
Right.
at your livelihood, you can use it and stuff. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it for now.
Anything else from you guys?
Just because I want to see it, but now that the fiscal year's turned, you told me later, I answered that question, had a conversation about the tract thingy, the gator, whatever it's called.
Well, I'll be looking to get
Prices
quotes.
are better later.
Yeah, I'll be looking to get some quotes in fall.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We got the compressor to get and the exhaust system. Those are both under Bob though.
Right. Well, I'll be probably getting quotes, starting to get quotes now, but I'll be looking into any factory rebates, end of the year sales kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
So, a couple of things. One is, we got a late invoice from,
Amy for the hydrant rental.
no,
Is that what you're saying?
for the equipment at the treatment plant. The company Hayes forgot to bill us
Mhm.
for 2000 and fiscal year 2018.
Is it dated? When is it dated?
The invoice itself is dated July. But
Of this
the
year?
work, yes.
Then it has to be paid out of this calendar year, out of next fiscal year.
Okay.
If it was dated June 30th, you have up until today to pay for it.
All right, so the work was done in 18. It doesn't matter, right?
Should it come out of fiscal 20 or 21?
Fiscal 20.
The problem is it's dated. You have to double check tomorrow with the Sue Bailey.
Okay,
You may have to get it redone for the date that it was actually the work was done,
okay.
and have them fax it to you. That's how you can pay it out of the next. If it's dated after July, it has to be paid out of, I believe.
So it's better if we have it pay out of the FY19.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely
Well,
If
it's
we have the money,
actually,
that's
good.
it's fiscal year 18, actually.
No, 19.
No, they didn't bill it. So
For-
the actual bill service was April 18, which
Right.
is fiscal year,
Ooh,
17.
I don't know if we can pay that. You got to check on that.
Okay.
Well, we have to pay our bill, it's just, it should come out of fiscal 20.
No, but what it is there is state laws as far as the bills and how long you can go with that, and before you can use the money, because they close books out and stuff.
oh no.
So I'm not 100% sure on how that. To ask the
I
experts.
think it was fall, actually. Don't you think it was the fall of 2018?
No, I remember the number, I remember the date on the invoice.
So double check and
'Cause I
go
read
on
the
their advice and
invoices.
do what they tell you to do about getting the bill paid.
4,000. I mean, it's not,
Not a big
but
money loss, but
the
big to a company.
the bigger point is, we need to have one mechanism at least for making sure that when somebody provides a service, that we know we should be.
It should match up with the purchase order.
Yeah, so that means that
There should be purchase
Well-
orders matched up with every bill, and if the bill doesn't have a purchase, if there's a purchase order and no bill, that should be a red flag. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I figure
we
it
haven't
should be
been
done.
signing purchase orders for guys coming in to do servicing on the equipment.
They haven't been back yet. I haven't called them in.
Well, I think
But I
I
don't
was
think.
waiting for the new fiscal year.
So we should find out what the process. Brigida should let us know what the issues are that this kind of stuff.
There's a lot of issues with our current paper system.
Mhm.
There's going to be a better way of.
I've said that.
Yep.
I wouldn't be aware of it, but we don't like the system at all.
I questioned it when I first got here, that why is everything being done an old-fashioned way, on paper or triplicate?
I mean, that's something we'll look into a little later.
So it's just that there may be other things out there that we simply don't know because we didn't know about this. And there's no way that we really could know about
Well,
it.
realistically, like I said, that's how the purchase order system should work. Every bill should have a purchase order, and every purchase order should have a bill.
Well,
And
every
if there's
set of
one missing on either side,
every set of activities should have a purchase order attached to it, and then we should match it up with the bill. But anyway, so I think we'll end up having to pay for it out of fiscal year.
yeah, like I said, just make sure it's all done above board and legal.
Yeah, I'll
That's all.
talk to you tomorrow.
Because that could be a problem. I remember that this may have to go to a town meeting to vote to pay a pass bill. I remember it happening before.
So let's find out what the story
Yeah.
is.
They can't just encumber those.
It's well past that now. Anything that you're encumbering for this fiscal year has to be done before the 15th.
Yeah, I mean, it's just people could start sending us late bills, and if we just automatically pay them, I mean, it's embezzlement basically.
I know that for a fact that it's happened before other departments. Even if it was $50 for flowers that didn't come in, they had to go to a town meeting and it had to have a 2/3 vote to pay the bill. So just double check, but that's what my memory tells me.
Something else, but I've forgotten what it is.
Current
Operation.
future operations.
Oh, I know.
Your budget.
The Hill. Have they finished working? Are they still working on the water tower hill?
Are they cleaning it, or are they talking about the valve modification?
No, the communications people who are going up the hill in
Two-wheel drive
unauthorized
vehicle?
in two-wheel drive vehicles.
I haven't,
That's in the hands of the town administrator.
Yeah, I haven't
I
revisited
haven't
it.
heard. I haven't heard back from her, so she was going to handle it.
All right.
So that's where I left it.
But do we have locks on it? Are there locks?
We have a lock, yeah.
And it's not double locked. It's just our locks. They have to get the key. They have to go to the police station and sign it out.
And then the future and current question, any change on the demo process for that little hut?
That I think Bob
Yeah.
Ray's been.
Bob, I actually
Okay.
stopped in. He talked to me about it yesterday. He's got the sign-off sheet. He's going around getting the
We're gonna do that
sign-offs.
tomorrow. We have to get sign-offs like everyone.
That we don't own utilities.
Town politics.
I have no comment.
So he's got the sign-off sheet. He showed it to me yesterday. No, today. I wasn't in yesterday. Showed me today, this morning.
I know, I couldn't figure that out.
Next. Leak detection proposal. It's a standard one for every year, right?
Yep.
Any comments from anybody?
Commission, make a motion to accept?
Yeah, I'd like an explanation of how come we didn't figure out that there was a leak out on Weathersfield Street. I mean, I understand what you guys are saying, but it really is just a nudge to the leak detection person to let's have an explanation of how come they didn't hear it.
Do we know there was a leak?
Yeah, they actually finally, one came to the surface. It was on the opposite side of the road.
Oh, you don't know? This is,
No, I don't
oh,
know.
all right, so we should clarify.
I'm like, what the hell is that?
$3.95. Last week, I got a call from the guy who runs the Y camp who said there's water spouting out of the road. So I called Rob.
So why did you get a call? Why didn't they just call that they're supposed to call?
Yeah, so
That's
what was
another-
it, a week ago, right?
I'd met him before when
It was like Tuesday night. Yeah, they called up for a water leak. It was on Weathersfield Street. Shut the main down, dug it up. There was a little, there was a hole in the side of the pipe.
It was where we least expected it, in the newer section of the duct line. What did it look like? Something wore through it, or?
Yeah, it looked like the iron pipe was laying on the rock when they installed it, and over time it will almost bore a hole in the side of the pipe.
Oh.
Well, Bernie's concerned that we've done multiple leak detections there and haven't found anything, and suddenly this leak sprung up, and after we fixed it, that now the whole area is dried up, and that this most likely could have been the leak from the 385.
I'm not convinced, because things are drying up now anyways.
Mm-hmm.
well, this was very, very quick, and there was an awful lot of water, and I'd been keeping an eye on the standing water because Patrick said he was going to dredge that channel. Nothing has been dredged. So the water went down. They fixed the leak. The water went down. I mean, it's
in the trench.
yes, and back into the woods as well. It's like there was a lot of water there, and so.
Have you noticed any difference?
I've been pumping. No,
And water going into the distribution system.
No, now we've been pretty much supplying Georgetown now.
But you know what you're supplying Georgetown, so you can subtract that off and see if it was a difference.
I haven't noticed any difference at all in years of pumping. Besides the fact that we're selling less, we haven't been pumping any less. We've been pumping around 140 million gallons since like 1986 or something. I found old ASR's reports from way back in just before 1990, and they were pumping 140 million gallons then too, with half of the population, which really meant that they were just letting a lot of water just waste.
Well, a lot of people using sprinklers because it was cheap.
Yeah.
And a lot of people
And this is,
turn them off.
again, they had a population of 3,000.
Nobody thought water cost nothing back then.
Oh, man, we just...
If this really was a leak, and we have never been able to listen to it through leak detection, then it's been an extremely small leak, almost insignificant. But because the area is clay, that perhaps the water's been kind of floating up over the clay and finding its way down the road, which is it's possible.
Well, I think
It's also still possible that this had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
It could have just happened.
Let's wait and see. That's all.
And like I said, a water leak's like taking your garden hose and stick it into the ground. It makes a hole. Well, it works the same way coming up. It just keeps eating away in a hole. And once it breaks through, you see it, and the hole gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, if it was a leak like that, that would have happened
And so-
a lot sooner.
That happened like that.
So
I don't know.
So my view here is that we want the leak detection provider, because he's more or less on a sole source at this point.
I can certainly have him provide us some explanations of why you wouldn't be able to hear certain leaks at certain times on certain pipes.
And is there anything that they could do differently that would improve the sensitivity of what they're doing?
And
Just
and
ask, because we're still
realistically,
we're still losing 15% of our production, right?
We're not selling.
Yeah, we're
We're not
producing.
accounting for it, but we've been producing the same amount for
Right.
years and
We
years.
still
and
have a
years.
large unaccounted for, so that's one aspect of this problem. And then the other one, obviously, is what we talked about, which is the replacing of the large meters. So, anyway, so you, sorry.
No,
You
so
made a
I make a
motion.
motion that we do this. Accept this contract.
Seconded.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
will get, I'll get a bit of right explanation. Try to describe that, because we're not experts in that.
Yeah, I would just like to hear, understand it, but it's also a kind of giddy up to him to basically say, if there's any more advanced technology, think about it.
Number 6, discuss sanitary survey. This is just, we want to acknowledge the letter you received from the DEP
Yes.
and tell you job well done.
Thank you.
I'll read the letter into the minutes. Good morning, Rob. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for your assistance in conducting the sanitary survey for Raleigh Water Department on June 19th and 26th. Please extend my thanks to the other Water Department staff as well. I found you to be very well prepared for the sanitary survey and the Water Department staff to be very professional and knowledgeable. Thank you very much. Williams, whatever his last name. I want to extend it too. Job well done, guys. I stopped in here and while he was here, just touched base with him, and everything seemed to be going really well. And it was the way I remembered DEP's interaction when I used to work here, not the way it was the previous sanitary survey. So, anybody else want to say anything?
Here, and everything you just said, and I like the way that they said the team was a team effort, and you and Rob led the team, and it's a pleasure to get such a nice report from the state versus some, previous things that were
Right, yeah,
well done.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was nice to, somebody kind of recognize when we are trying hard here, especially without a superintendent to kind of, lead everyone.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you guys did shot the lights out. Just for the people on the camera, if you want to tell a little brief about what is a sanitary survey, because some people will be like,
Sanitary survey is a reoccurring every 3-year inspection of all operations of treatment and distribution. They really sit down with you for sometimes up to a few days straight to kind of go over your procedures, your reporting, whether or not you really are making safe drinking water, looking at whether or not your facilities are disgusting. It's almost like a health inspection. When the health inspector comes around to restaurants, it's part of that. It's also part of what kind of all the reporting you do on a daily and monthly basis, whether or not you're keeping up with that. They even get into your budget items and your capital improvements and everything, and whether or not everyone knows what they're actually doing.
well, I think this note says it all.
No, I think it's an outstanding effort both by Rob and the rest of the folks in the department, and it is. We'll wait to see the report, but I'm pretty sure that we're not going to have funny things in the report which we will not know where they're coming from. I think the whole process has been far more open, and there's no hidden agendas going on. And so I think this will be
Besides making the safe drinking water, that's
the goal.
Yeah, that's the only agenda.
Mission accomplished. Yeah, it's great. I'm going to make sure everyone knows.
Thank you.
And if you share that with everybody, between the two of you, tomorrow, when you see everybody on now.
Okay, we don't have the minutes to June 11th, so
Motion adjourned?
seconded.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right.
Yes.